You can burn a piece of paper in protest, but you still have not changed anybody's mind. You can rip a piece of paper, but you haven't changed.
That's all it is, just a piece of paper.
You're still gonna walk around. You're still gonna walk around ignorant. You're not acting like a man. Don't touch my book. Don't touch my book.
What if your daughter got raped and you're pregnant?
What are you doing?
Hey, you call the police.
No, you're going to jail.
Going to jail.
They'll hold him. You're not going.
You call the police.
You're not going anywhere.
Fetus just means, it's a Latin word for a baby, a human baby in the womb. And so people think by saying fetus, that then they'll change your mind and make you believe that a child in the womb is not really a human being. And so, but in today's day and age, that's what people practice, and that's deception. That's deception. You use a word, a Latin word that people will not, know the full meaning of it, and you call it that name.
Feel free to have a conversation.
And that name is really, when you ask the person, you find out that the real reason is because of their ignorance to the issue. So I'm here to tell you, God created man in his own image. God made them male and female. He did not create Adam and Steve. He created Adam and Eve. He created Adam and Eve. And he created them and he formed them together in the womb. God created them when they were as a baby in the womb.
Wait, what are you hiding over there?
I think he's ripping your track that you.
No, he's lighting it on fire.
He's like, yeah, it's interesting how people's minds are twisted these days. They think by burning a piece of paper, they just convinced you. Yeah, you can burn a piece of paper. You can burn a piece of paper in protest, but you still have not changed anybody's mind. You can rip a piece of paper, but you haven't changed.
That's all it is, just a piece of paper.
You're still gonna walk around. You're still gonna walk around ignorant. You haven't changed anything. It's not a woman's right to kill. That's right. No one in this world has a right to kill. That's not a right. So when people say that they have that something is their right, that killing is their right, killing of a child in the womb is not a right. It's ignorant to believe that it's a right. It's ignorant to believe it's a right. And I'm not saying that anybody. Sorry, do you have a question, sir?
Are you married?
Yes, I am happily married, so thank you very much. Again, the topic is that, when you are calling that right, it's not really a right, because God has his laws in place, and anyone that violates those laws, including killing a child in the womb, is a sinner, is sinful, and they need to repent. So, and the same thing we're saying, that just because you killed a baby in the womb before doesn't make you that you stop there. And that's one of the key reasons. That's why the good news is proclaimed to the ungodly, because only the ungodly needs to hear the good news, because those that are ungodly are the ones that needs to hear the gospel. Jesus said that those who are sick, are the ones that needs a doctor. Okay? The Bible said, Jesus in his own word said that those who are sick are the ones that needs a doctor. Those who are fine, who are well, don't need a doctor. So if you have committed adultery and have brought a child from that, and in order to obfuscate that, and you kill the child, then there's a chair over there. Or you can bring it closer.
You can bring it closer.
You can bring it closer over here. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. He wants to sit. Okay, over here. That way you're not blocking the sign, you're not blocking the sidewalk anywhere. Just come here. Let's have a civil dialogue if you're interested. So what's your question? What's your what do you want? What do you have a problem with that? With the sign?
I don't know if it's a problem, but I need a more specific definition of what you mean by it's not a right.
Well, right.
Because look, hold on.
Right is something that is given to you by God, transcendent, given to you by God.
I understand. But don't you think that some leniency should be allowed to the first month or two? That's the question.
Don't I think that leniency should be allowed?
Yeah, because in the first month or two, there's not much of a biological thing.
So you mean on this 3 weeks, this is a 4 week, there's no biology here? That's not a biology?
I've never seen the picture so clear.
Okay, well,
I haven't.
well, that's why I have a picture in my background, in the background. So that already have an eye. It already has a stomach. It already has intestine. It's just in a developmental process.
It doesn't have a frontal lobe. It probably doesn't.
It doesn't have a frontal lobe.
It doesn't know that it doesn't know that it's alive. I would say that it doesn't know that it's alive. Well, I think that at that stage, as much as it looks like a biological thing, still has no sense of its own existence. It doesn't know that it's alive either.
Okay, so person in could you show the same thing about person in a coma does not also have does not know whether they exist or not, whether they existing. Should we kill them too?
Should we kill? Wow.
You got some loose change on you, sir. You're losing a lot of money. You got a lot of money on you. You got some loose change. Maybe. Okay, so we are calling, that everyone, everywhere to repent. That abortion is not a right. It's not a woman's right. Our rights are given to us by God. And then if you say, well, in the first month they already have their organs, everything that the child needs to survive. Is just in a developmental stage, which all of us are.
I don't think that we've gotten to the amount of specificity that I'm after. I think.
What specificity are you talking about?
There's two things. How big is that thing?
How big? Well, it's probably like I can't tell you the size, but it's very small. It's still developing, but it already has everything it needs.
That was magnified maybe 100 times, right?
Yeah, but does that make any difference?
Yeah, it does. It does, because what it means is that there's not much brain development.
Okay, so you're saying that size is what makes a human being a human being?
I didn't say that. I said that's what creates consciousness. That's the part that creates memories and consciousness and dreams and aspirations and language. Everything is contained inside of that. So if you're taking away the life of that thing, because I believe that's a life, and so that's very serious. But at the same time, you have to consider that it doesn't know it exists.
Okay, so life to you means that I have to know that I exist. Then that means that I'm alive. If I don't know that I'm existing, and that means I'm not alive.
I would say that's an important element of it. Yes.
An important element is if you know that you're alive, that makes you alive. But if you don't know that you're alive, that means that doesn't make you alive. Does a baby in the womb know that they're alive?
Well, in a sense, you understand what I mean.
No, does a 9-month-old child know that they're alive?
Yes.
How do you know that?
By the way that they respond to their environment.
But they can't talk, they can't communicate.
But there's the expressiveness, the happiness, and the tears.
You gotta come closer to my God. I want people to hear you. I don't want to mix up what someone to say, no, I didn't say that.
I hope that we don't. I think that we have basically a mutually respectful relationship.
So we both agree that it's alive.
I find you very interesting.
Okay, so we both agree that is alive.
I don't want an antagonist.
No, I want to. You asking, you say making points, and I'm asking you question based on those points that you make. You believe, we both believe that a child in a womb is alive. Okay, you just believe it. You just believe it. It's a different form of life, not like the way you and I are.
Obviously. Okay, that's obvious.
Okay, that's obvious that they're alive. Okay, so if something is alive, does that mean, is that a value?
I think so, yes.
Okay, so I do agree with you. Yes, life, anything that is alive has a value, whether or not that which is alive knows that it's alive, have its consciousness or not.
The thing is that what you're talking about is a level of life that's similar to like a frog or something. It's similar. I don't. This is going to sound bad, but like of a lower life. Like it's the life of I don't know, like almost a fish.
Okay, so a child in a womb in his entirety in that stage is like a fish or a frog. It has a lower life form. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Describe lower life form.
No. Again, it's always important because what I'm talking about is the level of consciousness.
Okay, level of consciousness means so you level of consciousness equals life or equals value to you. Is that what you're saying?
Of course, that's where meaning is derived in life.
Okay, so level of consciousness is equals value to life. So if someone does not have a level of consciousness, if something doesn't have a level of consciousness, it is not life, or it doesn't have value.
Well, I'm not the one that would draw a line in it. That's certainly true.
Oh, it's your sentence. It's your own word. You have to own it.
Yeah, but I am by saying that the middle is a little soft. I'm not exactly sure where I lie on it.
You have to have a basis. Your basis is just, I heard from you. Correct me if I'm wrong. What I'm hearing from you is if it's alive, but it does not have a conscience, so it doesn't have a value. So in that way, the life doesn't really means much. It can take it. Anybody can take that life.
Do you eat meat?
From what I'm hearing from you, I'm gathering all the things you said.
Just ask you a question. Do you eat beef or pork?
I do eat beef.
Pork?
I love beef.
What about pork?
I don't eat pork.
Well, a level of consciousness much higher than that embryo dies for us to eat beef. So we can't. Let's not pretend to be so virtuous. If you eat beef, yeah, you're killing a consciousness much higher than that. Pigs are intelligent animals.
Okay.
And cows are compassionate animals. Cows are compassionate animals.
So cow has more value than a human being in your worldview.
I said that it has more value than
Well, that's a human being in the womb.
Yeah, that's true, but it's not developed. That's the thing, it's not developed. Like, what we're doing right now is we're developing our capacity for critical thinking and philosophy and things. That's what I feel we're doing right now. And I think we're both just sort of celebrating that. So that's the sort of thing I'm talking about. And also the compassion part. Let's not forget the analogy being made between beef and pork. Because well, if you don't, do you believe that a pork's consciousness, a pig's consciousness means something?
Well, I believe that a pig has some sort of consciousness, but it doesn't. But a pig is not a human being.
It's not a human being, but it has similar emotions.
Yeah, but so is a cow. But a cow is not made in the image of God. So according to biblical perspective, God created man in his own image. Okay, he didn't create animal in his own image, and God is the one who tells us that we can eat animals. God said we can eat animals, but he didn't say we can eat human beings or kill them.
Regardless of what God says, you're either killing an animal that has a capacity for warmth and compassion and child rearing and all sorts of useful functions of like pulling our stuff around. So to deny the soul of that thing is ridiculous.
To deny that animal's soul is ridiculous. It's not ridiculous if I am doing it by my own cavalier ideology. But if I'm doing it based on what God said that we could do, then that's outside of that. That's benevolent. It's not really. It's not awful. But the fact about when it comes to abortion, we're doing it outside of God's own law. So those are the two different things.
My attitude is not cavalier.
Well, it's a
When I'm talking about my love of animals, I'm being very sincere. It's not cavalier at all.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about those who eat meats. Like it's not like we woke up in the morning and say, hey, you know what, here we're gonna go eat meat no matter what. We don't care what anybody says, even though nobody, we are told that we shouldn't do it, we're gonna go do it. No one that eats meat thinks like that. Everyone that eats meat or kills a cow knows they're doing that for a necessity, and the necessity is to feed oneself, and that's commanded, and that's commanded by God. So we didn't. They're not doing it out of cavalier attitude. They're doing it because they were told they can. But the same does not apply with the baby in the womb.
Whatever the cavalier aspect was not my attitude. That's all I'm saying. I'm not cavalier.
Well, the cavalier aspect, I'm comparing it with myself, because what you were saying is that eating meat and denying that animal right to live and all those things. Yes, I do. Yeah, because it's a necessity. We need the meat. Yes, and we need the leather to be able to make things. So that animal is actually being very useful in the fact of being eaten. They're being useful.
Cattle, I don't know, and they suffer a horrible death as well.
Yeah. Well, let's not get away from the top. The topic was whether it's right to kill a child in the womb, and your argument is that it's not different from a pig. It's no different from a frog or a fish at that stage in its consciousness. It's no different from a frog consciousness. Yes, but that's what I'm saying. You argue. No. I know you. But how?
In terms of nerve connectivity and brain matter and development of different parts of the brain, it's just not there.
Okay. Have you studied that a child at that stage and to know that that's not there?
I think that I did a very long time ago. Yes.
So when does a consciousness begin?
Yeah, that's where it becomes very sensitive. So I don't exactly know. I won't because I don't know.
So if you don't know when it begins, so why make a statement that this at a month-old child a month-old baby does not have a consciousness? How do you know that when you don't start when you have no idea?
No, what I said was that there were times in the past when I did study it very seriously, and based on my sense, my feeling, my gut reaction level thing, is to say that I can say with quite a bit of scientific certainty that what you have is the brain development of a very low life form. It's just true. It looks like, but you have to do that with a real size. Otherwise, you're kind of cheating because there's literally nothing there. There's nothing there.
What do you mean nothing there? I see something there. Well, just because you can't see it with your naked eye doesn't mean it's nothing. We can't see bacteria, but the bacteria exists. It's there. Yeah, but is it there? Is it there? So I just coming to that. Just coming to your point is you don't know when consciousness begin. But yet you said you feel. So all of these, what you are talking about is touched upon feeling, not about facts.
No. What I'm talking about is the feeling that I had when I studied this, the like this kind of scientific clarity that I got on this issue. because that's what I was seeking. I don't remember the details, but I remember feeling, yes, I figured this out. That's the feeling that I'm talking about. Is I remember I figured this out 15 years ago, and that's why now I can say with some certainty that it's quite a low life form. I'm not going to say specifically how low or how high or whatever, but it is like that's just scientific. That's just a scientific aspect of this argument that you're going to have trouble with.
Well, I don't have to shovel with it because I do believe that that child at that even 3 weeks is value, is viable, it's a developmental stage. Every DNA, everything that makes that child who that child is already there. It's already already there. It's developing. Yes, it's in development. When you plant an orange tree, and they haven't become gigantic to produce fruit, do you call it orange plant, or you call it something else?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
When you plant orange tree, and they're in a developmental stages, do you object from calling them a tree, or you say that that's an orange tree in development?
Here's the thing. I understand your philosophic orientation. I understand how you feel, because of course, the orange tree grows from the seed, but maybe what isn't clear for me is that I feel the same way.
Do you believe in God?
Well, if I would say that I do, but if I gave you my definition, you'd probably find it a little bit. Okay, I'll try. I think that you'll find it an interesting one, because I have studied religion for a long time. But
do you believe in God? Do you believe in a creator?
Yeah. Well, it seems that we have something from nothing, doesn't it? So that, to me, that points to some sort of a creative force, yeah. So on that,
do you believe in a creator, a personal being who created all things?
No.
You don't believe in a personal being who created all things? Okay, how does things come to be?
Well, it was certainly an extraordinary beginning. I wouldn't dream to say, but what I am saying is that it does seem that we have a lot of some things, and we all wonder, where did it come from? Why do we have a universe instead of nothing? And my original, yeah, that's got to be that.
Is the universe intelligent? Is the universe intelligent in its design and its appearance?
Absolutely.
Does intelligence comes from non-intelligence?
Yes.
Intelligence can come from non-intelligence?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. If you take,
so this microphone can come from someone who has no brain in the head.
Yeah, but you're making an analogy with this kid.
No, I'm talking about intelligence. Can you say the universe is designed, it appears to design, but you say there's no designer?
No, I said it looks like there's a designer to me.
It looks like a designer. I asked you, is the universe intelligent? You said yes.
No, you said yes. You said I asked
you. I specifically asked you, was the universe intelligently designed or intelligently put together? You said yes.
That it appears that way.
Does it appear that way? And then the question is, if it appears to be intelligent, if it appears to be put together intelligently, can intelligence come from non-intelligence?
Yeah, it does.
When did that happen?
Well, it has to do with the development of nerves.
So development of nerve needs cells to multiply to develop that. Exactly. Does that happen by intelligence or non-intelligence?
Well, what you have that appears to have no intelligence does obviously manifest as a lot of intelligence. A lot of what we feel as God is actually us. What I find is my connection to God comes from looking at buildings like this one. Looking at buildings like this one, I feel the existence of God. Have you noticed this one? This building right here, it looks like God.
looks like God to you? I see that building. I see a design, and I see that it cannot be there put together by itself. It was put together by an intelligent person.
Obviously. Oh, that's exactly what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is that thing doesn't.
Yeah. So when you look at the universe that is intelligence and intelligently put together, the sun is in a far distance to us that we don't cook. It's not also in a perfect distance that we don't. It's not far away from us that we can freeze to death. It's just in a perfect, fine-tuned settings. I see intelligence there, and what I believe behind every intelligence, and behind every intelligent design, there's intelligent design. There's an intelligent designer, and that intelligent designer is God. And the problem is because man forsake God. When man forsake God, everything becomes a fair play. They can call a child in the womb not viable. They can call a child in the womb that is non-human. They can try to describe it in a different way. That's what I notice when it comes to so those who don't believe in a real personal God, is everything becomes you can explain everything away. Even to a point a child in the womb.
No, that isn't true, because what I'm saying is that it, as an existence, as a being expands and experience and feeling and intelligence and capability and communication, then it becomes more like something we want to really, really treasure. And if you've got a being that, and this could happen at either end of the life spectrum, because I think that it's very expensive to take care of a lot of old people that are not there in their brain. They're not even there in their brain.
Are they human?
Yeah, they're definitely human, and it's totally a sad thing, but they're 97 years old, and they've had Alzheimer's for 15 years, and she's pumped full of drugs, never conscious at all, hardly. And it's like she can't go to the bathroom by herself, she can't do this, it's just, and it's really, really expensive, and there's not only so much money to go around, so the money that's being spent, in this case, with a being that doesn't know it exists, could be spent somewhere else.
So, in other words, we should kill everybody that is not cognitive and.
No, I didn't. The thing is that with
because we don't need to spend money on them because they have no value.
But you extrapolate from what I'm saying. So all I'm saying is that aren't you willing to consider the fact that at the end of a person's life, there's no actual existence there. It's expensive to maintain it, and that money could be used to help other people. Because if you just say, oh no, all these resources should go to this one person, then you're saying these other people don't get it. And that doesn't make sense. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, well, it doesn't make sense to someone who's only thinking about money, the finance. As an economist with no morals, no human moral, that's how they will think about it.
Help on this one. Do you think that there's an infinite amount of help?
Well, we can help, but when I'm helping an old lady cross the road, I'm not helping a child that is also needed to cross the road. I can't be at the same place at the same time. You have to help one, and when you help the other one, you don't help the other. But that's life. That we can't be in two places at the same time.
What I'm talking about is medical funds, and you have to consider the fact that there's other beings that are even just coming into consciousness, that have a whole life ahead of them, will suffer as a result because there's only so much help to go around.
So that the fact is, it brings back to the question that you're losing lots of money. There's money here too. There's more money here. You lost more. So all I got from you is loose change, sir. Unfortunately, but we're gonna continue. The life
Can we see
in the womb.
You made
Life in the womb is alive, is sacred, and no matter how small they are, and they have value, and as a value why? Because they are made in the image of God.
So is this.
Yeah, it does have value. It does.
See what I mean? You know?
It does have value, but they're not human being. They're not human value. They're tree value.
Doesn't have a soul.
Doesn't have a soul. It doesn't have a
That's the main
consciousness, like you said. It doesn't have a consciousness, like you said. It doesn't have consciousness, like you said, and it's a tree. So, and you know,
But
like
it still has value.
well, the same, like the old person in a drug that, you know, it has lost their mind. They don't have consciousness too. They're not a human being because they don't have consciousness. If I take your word, your opinion to the logical conclusion, you know, those people should be gassed. They should be eliminated or allowed to die. Those older people.
That is a complete misrepresentation of what I actually think.
No. If we should divert that money from helping them, so we should let them suffer and die because they don't have that cognitive ability.
No, that's not what I think. That is what.
Well, because if you don't believe that something has cognitive ability, they have no value to you, and if they have no value to you, you can discard them. It's easy without any.
My philosophy is inconsistent.
It's not. Yes, exactly. I'm glad you understand that. It's not consistent. Your philosophy is inconsistent. Yeah. So, and that's what I try to spend time pointing out the inconsistency of it. You know, I spend time trying to point out the inconsistencies of it. I'm glad that you're able to see the inconsistency is in it. We are made in the image of God, and without God, we will not be here.
We all have God. We all have gods. All of us. Some of us, our God is money. Some of us, our God is, you know.
My God is literally creation.
Well, then you that's your God.
Oh, you're getting close, brother.
But creation is created. That's
You're
your
getting
God.
close
To what?
to the real God.
Yeah.
Because if you enjoy the creation, you want to know who made it. Sorry.
Can you teach me about the baby?
What question you have?
At what point is it alive? Like, tell me about that graph right there.
You want to sit down?
No.
You good?
No. At what point the child is alive?
Yeah.
The child has got conception.
So,
Because
first week?
first week, once the child is alive, once the egg and the sperm meets, the child life begins.
Yeah, you don't kill a baby, right?
Huh?
What if the
You don't kill a baby. It's a murder.
what,
If you
what,
kill
what
a
if it's
child,
a teen pregnancy?
it doesn't matter. It's teen pregnancy is still a baby in there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter, but doesn't mean that those who committed abortion when they were teen doesn't mean that there's no hope for them. The hope is Jesus Christ, that through Jesus Christ you can be saved. Your sins can be forgiven and you don't do it again. You just, that's the message, is the message of peace. But the problem we have today is that, you know, people make it like a woman's right to kill the child in their womb.
It's wrong.
And as the Bible tells us, it's not a it's murder. It's not a right for a woman to kill a child in her womb because it's murder, and murder is not a right.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I agree.
that's the point. Murder is not a right. So my brother can give you a tract. You can read on your own way on your home on your way home.
Here you go, bro.
You can take a tract.
If I got a baby in her, should I kill it or no?
You kill is murder.
Not if it's not born yet.
Well,
You wouldn't have a
if
choice. It'd be her choice.
Yeah.
But it says it's not a woman's choice. It's not a woman's right.
It's not a woman's
No,
right.
but you asked if you could
It's
kill it. You
nobody's
wouldn't even be
right
able
to
to
kill.
choose. She'd be.
Yeah.
I could kill it.
No. Yeah, that would be.
A woman's right or man's right is
Yeah,
not
I can
is
cut
nobody's
off your
right.
dick.
It's nobody's right to kill a child in the womb. It's murder.
It's God's right, right?
Only God has right to take life. The only one who gives life is the one who has the right to take it.
Maybe what if you like prayed to God for an abortion because you didn't want the baby or you couldn't take care of it? Did
Well,
He give you a miscarriage or no?
You can't pray to God to kill a child.
Well, not to kill it, but like let's say
You guys should
let's say
pass
you're
the
financially
the
struggling.
microphone back and forth.
If you're financially struggling, doesn't mean that you should kill to stay financially to stay financially stable. That's not a.
But then the woman goes into labor, the woman has to do all this shit, and then the baby just goes to like foster care for life or like something like that.
Oh, so okay. So your aim is because a child is gonna go to foster care, so kill it. That's the solution.
Maybe.
Is that a good solution to kill a child just because he's gonna go to a foster care? That's very immoral. That's very immoral.
I have a question for you.
Turn to Jesus. What was your question, sir?
Would you say a 14-year-old girl who got raped?
You can have a seat. You can have a seat.
Yeah, it's just a question.
That's what we are here for. You can have a seat and you can have a civil dialogue.
I agree with you guys.
Okay. Well, glad Jesus saves.
Would you say a 14-year-old girl who got raped?
Don't be afraid. We don't bite. So if you have opinion and you're strong in your opinion, you'll be willing to defend it. So
Would you say a 14-year-old girl? All right. Would you say a 14-year-old girl who got raped should raise her child?
I say the child should not be killed for the sins of their father. I say the guy who raped him should be emasculated or sent to given a death sentence for raping, and the child should be saved. The child should be alive and be born.
Would you say the girl, the 14-year-old girl, would suffer
What's the suffering?
that she might not be able to raise the child because she's so young?
There's something called adoption. She can carry the child to a full term and give the child up for adoption.
And would you say she wouldn't suffer physically?
Everybody who's raped suffer physically, emotionally, and I sympathize with the person. If it's my daughter, I'll vow for that rapist to be thrown in jail or executed, and I'll have my daughter to carry the child to term, and then we give it to up for adoption, or keep the child because it's part of her.
But we were not talking about the rapist. You know, he did something wrong, but we are talking about the woman, and you're saying that the woman is absolutely not allowed to abort the child.
Well, the fact is, you don't take two wrongs don't make a right. You know, someone committed a crime, someone commits a crime, and then you commit another crime on top of that just to make it right doesn't make sense.
But let's say the 14-year-old girl says, you know, one thing that would really help me to get over this rape would be to abort the child. Isn't this reason enough for you to allow this?
Well, if somebody gets raped, number one, the first day they get raped, they should go straight to hospital, report it to the police, and go straight to the hospital and flush away whatever is there.
That doesn't guarantee that it helps.
Well, if you have to wait for a month to report a rape, then it's not really a rape.
Of course it is.
If you have to wait 2 months before telling everyone, no one will stop you, and you wait for that till the child is born, until the child is grown out in your womb, and now you decide you want to kill the child. That's not really a responsible way to do things. So if someone is raped, like I said, and they carry that child to that point, and they have no right to kill that child because that child has a life, has a right to live.
Well, that's where I see the difference. I think, you know, that here you have the different stages of a child being born, and in my opinion, the human life is only created when the child is born. I think as long as the child is living in the woman's womb, it's not alive. It does not count.
Really? So you mean that, so you arguing in a place of location. So location, wherever you're located in the world or in the space, determine whether you're a human being or not.
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm in Africa, I'm not a human being.
No. That's completely wrong.
It's a location, it's a space in time.
But that's racism you're talking about. I'm not saying where you're living on Earth determines how much you're worth. I'm saying that every human is the same, first of all, and every human is created in whatever stage you're calling it, either in the balls of the man or when reproduction happens.
So the child in the womb is a human.
Well, technically it is, but I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that the woman is responsible for a child she did not want to create.
Is it okay for that child she did not want to create to be killed?
Yes.
So that human being should be killed because the mom doesn't want to carry that human being.
Yes.
Okay, so well, your point is what I say consistent, but it's wrong. It's completely wrong because you're saying that it's okay to murder just because you don't want that life. It's okay to murder.
Well, it is very important how we define the terms of killing and murder.
Well, when you take a child in the womb and rip it to pieces and take something and go through his head, because in Canada here you can murder a child up to 9 months. In Canada, that's as long as it's in the womb, it's not considered a human being alive. So you can actually murder that child until they pass through the birth canal. Then he becomes a human being. So it's the same argument you're making is the same argument that Canadian government is making, is saying that location where you are makes you non-human or a human. So if you're in the womb, you're not a human being. If you're outside the womb, then all of a sudden you magically become a human being. What you said?
Yes, I would say that's true. And I would also say, but let's get back to the original topic here. You're saying that the 14-year-old girl who got raped has not the right to abort the child and is basically forced by someone else's whatever sex drives to completely flip over her life and especially
I understand what you're saying, but it still goes back to the point, two wrongs don't make one right. Just because a child is born because their father sinned does not mean that that child should be killed for the sin of their father.
But you're saying two wrongs don't make one right, but the one wrong you're addressing is the rape, and the other wrong you're addressing is the abortion, right? Yes. But what if the girl and whatever people we are talking about don't see the abortion as one wrong, but see it as a good thing? So it would make something else right, doesn't it?
Well, it doesn't, because what you think or what you feel does not negate the laws in place. The laws that God placed in nature, God put a human being, created them, knit them together in the womb, and that child, that life has value by God's decree, has value. Just because you and I feel that it's not alive does not change God's laws. In 1939, the Nazis say that the Jews, and the gays and mentally handicaps are not really human beings, and they gas them. And that's the same ideology. It's just now we're just turning it to a baby in the womb, and we're just redefining a child in the womb as not human.
But you're saying that the reason to illegalize abortion is God's rules and God's will, right?
God is the one who created the life, so God is the only one who can take the life, not us.
But that's your belief.
Yes, that's every belief.
But not mine.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact. I can believe, you can believe that a place can fly, and it's not a reality. That's fine. That's your belief, but it doesn't change the fact.
But it's not a fact that God exists. It's not.
It is a fact.
Why? How? Prove it.
You.
Me.
You make, people make a lot of claims that a child in the womb is a clump of cells, is not just a real human being. I'll make the same argument that you who's standing here is a clump of cells too, and each of those cells divides every single time, and they all carry information inside them. Your eye color to be blue is all determined when you were a child, when you were in the womb. There's your cells in your body tells your body the cells that makes the eye which to make, and those cells, stem cells, one divides and become making the ears. Some makes the nose, some make the eyes. There is information in each of those cells that tells them what to become, and that information, does it come from non-intelligence or intelligence?
My existence does not prove the existence of God.
It does. Your existence proves the existence of God. Just explain it to you.
You would say that evolution, like Charles Darwin said it was true, is not true.
It's false.
So how come? So, do you see this nerve here, this muscle here? Humans have no need for it.
That's what you think.
It's a fact.
It's not a fact.
How can you claim that whatever I say is not a fact and whatever you say is a fact?
Because what you say comes from a place of ignorance. Charles Darwin was an ignorant man. Yes, Charles Darwin was an ignorant man, and he was a racist. Charles Darwin was a racist, and he believes that the whites are more supreme, are evolved more than the blacks. And so from that point of ignorance, that's where he started his argument, and that's where he claims the claim that he made. It permeates the whole universities today. So the fact is that you haven't answered my question. I said, where does information come from that tells your eyes the color to become?
From my DNA. But first of all,
where does your DNA come from?
Charles Darwin did not say whites are supremacists or whatever. Whites are more worth than blacks are. That's not true. That's not what he said. And we're not talking about these.
What is the origin of species? What's the full meaning? What is the full meaning of the book, The Origin of Species?
We are talking on an emotional basis, on a personal basis.
We're not. Ignorance means that you don't know that.
Yeah.
You don't know that fact.
This is ignorance. When
Okay.
your fucking daughter gets raped, you get pregnant, man. Think about that for a fucking
You're being emotional, sir.
You're goddamn right to be.
Yeah, you're being emotional. You're not acting like a man. You're not acting like a man. Don't touch my book. Don't touch my book.
What if your daughter got raped and you're pregnant?
What are you doing?
Can you call the police?
No, you're going to jail. They'll hold him. You're not going.
You call the police.
You're not going anywhere.
Can you call the police? You just destroyed my Bible.
I wanted to see
That's
your-
a religious crime.
I wanted to see your book. Now
No,
you're
you don't.
No. You don't destroy property,
I
dude.
asked to see your
You don't
No,
destroy
you
property.
don't destroy
This
people's
is
property.
assault.
No, it's not.
No, it's citizen's
It's
arrest.
citizens arrest. The police are gonna be on their way.
Fuck are you?
You don't do that.
You don't destroy people's property.
Yeah, hi.
Okay.
We've had an we need police here.
We asked you, invited you to sit down and talk to us.
Yes,
you didn't
sorry.
You choose not to. You chose to destroy our property.
Please let go of my wrist.
You chose.
You forego that when you destroy property.
This is also assault. I'll stand.
No, no. When you decide to assault me, when you decide to assault me,
to see your book.
It's all on
no,
camera.
I said no.
My camera.
You don't understand.
I didn't do anything.
You don't
illegal,
understand
so.
no. You don't understand no. Huh? You don't understand no. You don't take. You took our track. We caught you on video burning our tracks right here, and now you came and destroyed my holy book.
I actually just asked you to look at it. You can just pick it up off the ground.
No, I'm gonna leave it there. Just go away. Just go, please.
Yeah, hi. We need police for Surrey.
It's a Bible.
Surrey Central City Parkway in front of the SkyTrain station. So we have a preacher here that was preaching, and some person came up and ripped his Bible. No, they're walking away, but we have it on video. No, I'm with the preacher.
It's interesting.
He's walking towards the Surrey Central Mall, the entrance for the school. He's white, probably about 18, curly hair, red curly hair, heavier, a little chubbier, black shirt, black pants. Yeah, he did that, yeah. There was a little bit of an assault. He was fighting with the preacher to get to the Bible, and he pushed, I guess, yeah, he did sort of assault him in a way, because the preacher was trying to defend his Bible, and he just pushed his hands away and got to the pages and ripped it.